Welcome to another video, guys. I tried Egg Warrior again on my climb back to top 11x Legend, and I gotta say, the deck feels disgustingly strong, and it does work a lot more often than it doesn't. I do believe this deck is actually pretty top tier if played correctly, and it would be a very easy climb to easy Legend with it if you know how to play it. So in this video I'm gonna give you a quick guide about it, talk about mulligans, win rates, and general tips so you know what you could be doing with as well as against it. So I hope you find the video helpful, and if you do, a like and subscribe would be great, but now let's check out the deck.
You are not prepared!
Here's the list I used, and it's basically the same list I showed you like maybe 10 days ago, was it? But yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deal. I saw people were doing pretty well with it in Top Legend, so I decided to give it a try, and the deck really did win quite a lot. And we had a pretty beautiful win streak with it. With the 11x chart bonus, definitely feels nice. What are you trying to do with this deck? Well, basically you're trying to draw your cards, you try to draw egg nice and quick, and you start killing it over and over again. And around turn 5 or 6, you should be getting yourself a 20 on the board. And on turn 7, you get a lot more stuff on the board thanks to Umbra, and you could also be doubling things up thanks to Nablia, which also could be coming in with the clutch, even though she did not do anything for me. In my games, in most games, it could be very powerful, especially you could check that last game we had in a mirror match, where Nablia basically decided the game. Going through the cards themselves, we do have ourselves Eternal Toil, with which we can draw ourselves a lot more cards. You could also be using it to damage your eggs, so you can actually kill it away with things like Torch, and you could also be using it on the enemy stuff, like if you're against an aggro deck, you would not hate using this on turn 1 to actually kill a 1 health minion in order to get yourself a minion of your own. Sanguine Depths could be helpful for you. You could use it on your own egg so you can actually attack with it into something and kill it. You could also just use it on your egg when the board is empty, or when it already was killed once so it can't attack, just for the sake of killing it another time with things like Torch. Or you could also be using it to finish off an already poked egg with something like Eternal Toil, or with something like Slam more often than not. The Siphoning Growth is super valuable because it's basically a 1-mana destroy, and it's actually especially valuable when you go for a, let's say, turn 8 or 7 and bring her Umbra, and then you could just play Siphoning Growth or coin it out, so you can get yourself a second 20/20 on the board. It also gives you a ton of armor, so it's very helpful. We also have Slam, which helps you with the card draw as well as killing your own stuff, mostly for the egg, but you could be using it for the opponent's stuff. Torch also helps big time because you get to kill your egg over and over again if you have several different ways of poking at it, but again, you could be using it for the enemies. With Holy Egg Bearer, you basically just want to be drawing out your egg, so the second one would be useless. Shield Block helps you with the cycle and the armor. Unleash the Crocolisk helps you a lot with the armor, and also you could get yourself cheaper card draw with 4 Glory that way. And you're also not too sad about playing it, let's say, on turn 6, if you're going to be following up with something like Shelnado. On turn 8, you could also be amping up the damage Decimation can be dealing that way, so it definitely has a lot of extra uses for you, but the main one would be to gain armor and get cheaper card draw. Acolyte of Pain also gives you a lot of draw, and you could be poking it with your Eternal Toil or with your Slam, let's say. Axe of Forefathers is also great, giving you extra ways to poke your own minions, mainly for your egg, but also don't forget you're poking the opponent's stuff, so that can be great. Egg of Chaos obviously is the main reason why this deck is working, so if you're against something like a Shaman, make sure to actually play this around turn 5, when you can actually kill it a few times with something like Siphoning Growth or something, so that if they do indeed have Hex, at least you have a shot of recovering the game with something like Umbra a little bit later. Obviously, if this thing gets silenced, that's also gonna basically break your game, but not that much silence going on in the game right now. Nightmare Xavius is super good in here because you get to fish out your Endbringer Umbra or your Nablia nice and cheap like that, and worst case scenario, you could also use it on your egg if nothing else helped for you to find it. That would be one of the ways to actually fish it out, but not very great because it's pretty expensive and it means turn 5 Chaos. Shelnado is pretty good, especially if you have yourself more than 1 egg on the board, because this thing is gonna keep on cracking your eggs even after Death Rattle is gonna continue dealing damage, so that's gonna help you big time clearing another egg. And it's also pretty powerful against sticky minion boards like let's say Tokeny Druid stuff or aggressive Pallies, that kind of stuff. For Glory, helps you big time with the card draw, especially if the opponent goes wide, and even if they don't, you can help them go wide with Unleash the Crocolisk. Decimation is amazing because this thing is gonna be killing off all of your eggs on the board, and it would be a good way to actually crack a few after you've played something like Umbra. Nablia can be amazing, and and you could be using her on an egg, or you could be using it on an already established Kelos. And the cool thing about her is she is going to be giving rush to the copies of the damaged minions. So if you do something like Sanguine Depths on a almost cracked egg, that way you get to actually attack with the cracked egg and get yourself a 20/20 on the board while you're having yourself a 4 times cracked egg on the board. And last but not least, we have Umbra, and she is going to be repeating all the death rattles you've triggered, and the only death rattles you have in this deck would be the eggs, so it's always going to be 5 eggs if you had 5 eggs die. Matchup wise, here's what we have. Things like Dragon Hunter apparently are not going to be great, Quest Mage might be a problem, some of the priests are not great, Herald Shaman of course with the hexes, and if you're finding Warlocks somehow, those will also not be great, some of the rogues can be a problem but most would be fine, and the rest is 50-50 or very much in your favor, so there's that. On the mulligan going first, here's what we have. Basically find yourself the Holy Egg Bearer or the egg. If you already have those, you could be keeping a lot more stuff, like let's say Eternal Toil, Siphoning Growth, but only if you already have a way to actually get the egg. If you don't, you basically hard mulligan for that, or some card draw, like things like Shield Block can be okay, even though the HS Replay Premium Guide doesn't really list it as a very good keep. And depending on the matchup, you might consider some sort of removal, but for the most part, if you don't have the egg already, just throw everything away. If you already do have the egg, holding on to things like Sanguine Depths, Axe of Forefathers, Eternal Toil, Siphoning Growth, Slam, Torch, but only if you already have the eggs. On the coin, again, plenty of the same stuff. Find the egg, play it as soon as turn 2 or 3, and start cracking. That's about it for the deck. Definitely not the cheapest, but also not that expensive, given that the only card you're actually gonna have to craft is just Decimation. Like, everything else is actually free in the next couple of months still, so you actually get to enjoy this deck quite free to play, and actually climb yourself some nice ranks with a control-y deck. I hope you enjoyed the guide, and if you did, a like and subscribe would be great, and don't forget to check me out live on stream each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, including Tuesday, when the new class sets actually drop. Now, let's check out some of my games on my road back to Top Legend. Hope you enjoy. These months are flying by, man. Feels like yesterday you had 48. Like yesterday, that one. Let me full toss it, even though Shield Block not that bad, but we all know Egg is much better, and that's why we get Egg. Alright. So that's how it's gonna go, is it?
I will transcend this world.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Shoot to shoot. Like that ought to do it. Thank you for the frame, cuz. Miss me with that shit. One, 3. Can only crack it 3 times right now, so maybe I'm just gonna do it like this then. I'll leave it like that. Hey, happy to hear, man. Appreciate ya. Another one. That does crack it out. Let's go ahead and do it. No reason to even do anything too fancy here. Umbra's ready in for whatever, and she's gonna give a couple of 20s. All is good in the world. Okay, destroys it. What about the next one, though? Let it cook. Now he has to play 2 Deathwings. I guess. King Lamey boy. Putting the location not too great for Nablia, but not sure it's gonna come down to Nablia, is it? He's looking for the randomness, but I don't think there's anything in there that gets you there, Chief. Never thought about that, 05. Now that I just said it, some of these lists do run that. Good news is, Umbra is still gonna be in my hand, so I'll just be able to play it again. But I wasn't thinking about that. You're not wrong. Okay, now there's two of them. Figured it out. Okay, the skin breaks the game, still. Good stuff. Why wouldn't it, after all?
Deathwing versus Garrosh. At last, Azeroth will break.
Where are the eggs at? There they are. Much better. Would be fun against Dragon Warrior.
What horror will hatch?
Won't be long now.
Really, bro? Some lists do run silence. This guy probably doesn't, but I'd still try to play around it a little. Just in case.
Bring the pain.
Not sure what you mean there, save?
Change is coming.
Looks like we've got a fight for the ages.
Yikes. That's a big beating stick, that guy. Three more times to crack. Mm-hmm. Gotta go ahead and do this. Next turn this thing clears. Oh, he damages it for me? Thank you. Wouldn't mind top decking Siphoning Growth just in case, but this ought to be enough. Let's see now. I am dead to a few things. Be a damn shame if he has Wind Peak Worm plus 2 or 3 damage. Takes it like a man. Double Torchy Boy. What about the next one? I'd have what he's having.
My people will regret turning their backs on me.
Got him. Still was a bit risky there, but played what we could. Played with what we had. Okay, let's get some win streak going.
Deathwing versus Rexar. I'm acting on instinct.
Why would it go with the Death Knight hero power there? Like, that makes no sense. Against the Hunter, I don't hate this. He's not quest. Where the egg at? This surely is gonna draw me a lot soon. Let's see the 0 mana hero power, of course. They don't leave home without it. Apparently this guy did. This is gonna help. That's a lot of card draw.
No quarter for traitors.
And the egg.
Feed my children.
Who the fuck runs that? This guy Dragon Huntered? lot of viewers today. Happy to have you guys. Appreciate you dropping by.
Sisters, my
Ew.
arrows shall strike down our foes.
That's interesting. I'm gonna be using this. So I could just do this. Now that I said it, I could have done that this turn and attack. Yeah, I could have done it better.
We do what the living cannot.
Neat. That helps big time, because now I can just enrage it. Okay, we are going to be taking a little bit too much damage here, but the siphoning growth should come at some point. Next turn we crack it out. Maybe we can even get ourselves a second copy, we'll see. Probably not. Not if we want it cracked out, that is. Oof. There's the growth.
What to burn next?
That ain't bad. How's it going, Trem? Welcome, welcome, bud. Dude got his chat card. So he must think he's the chat. His future dragons having rush definitely can handle the 20. Not the next one, hopefully. There you go, get him, man. Good stuff.
Is this a fight you wanted?
Okay, good news is I get to crack a second.
My people will regret their backs on me.
Technically I can just crack with this, and I will. Just so something stupid doesn't decide to happen, you know? There's another one. Is that to a single 20 plus 6? We're currently seeing him in the process of bending over.
Change is coming.
Even if somehow he handles this, Shelnado is gonna give him even more problems. But I don't think there's a way he handles this. Poor bastard can't even Sudoku himself. This is what I thought. Okay, good old 11x win streak. Love to see those. Them's a lot of stars, homeboy. You know.
Deathwing versus Garrosh.
That's good. That's real good. Honestly, I can keep the whole thing. 1, 2, egg 3. Maybe even coin one of these just in case. He doesn't need to know. He's on a need to know basis, and he does not need to know.
What horror will hatch? Won't be long now.
Do I pretend any of these people run silence, guys? Like, feels like I'm playing around silence a little bit too much for it to be smart. And against this guy, coining out decimation on 5 could really be decimating indeed. What are the odds of him running silence and let alone him having it? Like, odds of him having silence right now would be about 20-ish% chance. Odds of him running it, about 5%, so math ain't mathin', yo. The math ain't mathin', yo. I'm even gonna enrage it for the sake of this getting back online faster. Okay. Thanks. Could consider coining Shelnado or just wait for next turn, honestly. Draw last like a champ. Fog. It just needs to play a hot single, and that's gonna be 8 damage AoE, and that looks like the worm to me. Even if he doesn't, I have location to delete it. I can actually use location on my own act to make the trade. That's even better for me. Gets me there faster. It's overstep, bro. I have the high ground.
What horror will hatch?
Stop it, dude, that tickles. Now the question is, should I just clap it right now? No, I'd rather do it next turn with Nablia. That is gonna give me... I mean, technically speaking, right now I can have a 20-20 on the board. There's no way he deals with a 20-20 on the board unless he has double torch, and even then. Nah, I'm just getting a 20 right now, man. There's just no reason not to do it like that. Because I was kind of contemplating about some knobbly options, but get time for that. That's funny. That is low-key funny, actually. Okay, that was smart of him. If something is smart, you gotta give it to him. He managed, so now it's Umbra waiting room. He was smart enough to look for that. Xavius gives me the dude next turn. New objective, live. In a couple of turns, we do the thing. Shaq not dumb. They dumb. Shaq boy doctor. Gotta love it. Bless his heart. Shaq not dumb. They dumb. Let's go ahead and do this. So we can draw a bunch. And not get the fucking thing. And now the question is, do I care about this board that much? And the answer is clearly no, so might as well just get me Umbra and get this shit over with, but... obviously, this could have been better. Because if I drew it like that, I could have just shell NATO and delete this whole board, but since I didn't, I don't want to postpone this any longer than it has to be. Let's just do the thing. Next turn I can crack out a second egg with Slam Location. And he should be on his merry way now. Had to send the first half, but not really. Still kicking, damn it. No manners, that guy.
You were destined to fail.
That doesn't do that. Took him a while. All's well that ends well. Oh my stars. Nothing but net.
Deathwing!
Not a warrior.
Deathwing!
Hopefully not a mirror, because that'd be not very cash money, but be okay, I guess. I'm down to hold on to the Axie boy. ZVS is gonna give me Umbra on curve, basically. Not guaranteed, but highly likely. Would get Nablia by then. Would be guaranteed. Feel like it's a mirror, man. Told ya. I had a feeling, what can I say? I wonder if the feeling was mutual. So it is gonna come down to Umbra shenanigans. That's kinda silly of him. Charge on Umbra is funny. It's gonna draw a bunch. Problem is I don't have my torch.
Where shall I strike?
Piece of shit. Bro. This is so rigged, it's not even funny.
Where shall I strike?
Okay. Figured it out. Problem is, he is gonna be able to crack it out too. Question is, will he have his Umbra? Oh, runs execute straight out. Word? Wouldn't mind another... No more growth in there. Growth ain't growing.
My people will regret their backs on me. My people will regret their backs on me.
Okay. See how that go. How should we approach this shite? 12 damage. Problem is I drew a lot more than he did, so if it comes down to fatigue, we're in danger, but I think we have better odds of controlling this board. Now he's also liking to draw, apparently. What's he digging for? Wouldn't mind getting Nobly, I can tell it how much. Nobly is gonna be the deciding factor here, and I think he has one.
Make haste.
The Titans
Mm-hmm.
will not be disappointed.
Doesn't have room for all of them, but he does have. Fuck.
What to burn next?
Motherfucking Nablia. Not great. Kinda terrible. He hasn't used any of his decimation, if he has any. He does run execute, so maybe not that many decimations. Nablia, where are you, bitch? I could really use your help right now. I got 2 shots at her. One shot shot itself. The other shot also shot itself. Huh. So that's how it's gonna be. Well... we're screwed, because he's gonna have 1 20-20 left.
Where shall I strike?
What can I say, man? Game literally did not want to give it. Can almost take care of it. How's this supposed to be good? Got a hero powered at least. Nablia can go shit herself at this point. Problem is, I'm further down fatigue, and I don't have a great way to kill this thing, so... I literally gotta take 20 more damage. Nah, game really shot me here. Game shot me hard. Fuck am I supposed to do over there? That was dumb. That was dumb. Nablia being bottom 3. Sure, bud. That's how it's gonna go. In the mirror, nonetheless. That's how it's gonna go.